Hello everyone, my name is Jeff, and this is the Fire Force Episode 4 review. With me, as always, are Coby and Torie. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hello.
Hello. It's Eva Green. It's Mila Kunis. It's some other attractive hot actresses because we're hot here on the Fire Force review.
Hot actresses, huh? First one comes to mind is Eva Green. Interesting.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. She's a beautiful, best Bond girl ever.
Yes, I have to agree with that one. I have to agree. What about you, Torie? Any hot female actresses you can think of?
No.
All right, that's all. That's all we got.
She finds everybody hideous in life.
Yeah, they're all equally average.
So, what did you guys think of the episode?
Well, it was an interesting. It was both kind of a more standard case of the week than we've seen before, but also kind of, I guess, opening up the world and letting us know about the other elements that are out there, especially Zone 5, which was it was solid. It was good. I don't think it was probably my least favorite out of all of them, but I think now as we're settling into more of a groove, this episode was like necessary. So I'm not against it or anything.
So, with the Zone 5's Fire Force, I don't think we were introduced to what they do. Because in the last episode, at the end, they kind of explained what Fire Force 8 does, and they also explain 1, 2, and 3 as well, don't they?
They mentioned Fire Force 5 last week, because last week is the one where I said, like, oh, I thought they were Unit 5 for a second, because our main character was like, they're under it too? It's because Section 5 is the one under the laboratories, the Hajime.
So they're the ones that were like infiltrated by Hajime. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Okay, and their new leader. What do you guys think of this woman and their crew in general? I guess.
Not a fan. Not a fan.
You're not a fan of the woman that likes to step on people
Yeah,
and
what
calls them
was up
gravel?
with that?
Like, man, those guys did not break. I was staring at them the whole time. It's like, man, they must be pretty strong. And I guess Section 5 must be the best place to work for because if you're willing to go through becoming a human chair and walkway for this girl, then there must be some good benefits or something.
The benefit is getting stepped on. It seems like.
Yeah.
Because everyone that got stepped on, seemed like they're real into it.
Or they just are used to it.
It's a weird path. Do they just lay there the whole time, or as soon as she gets up, do they all assemble down into their pathway?
No, I thought that was their job, just to be
Just to be
floor.
stepped on.
Just to be stepped on. That's what they're hired for. They're not where near firefighters. They're just stepped on people. They're gravel, as she said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a very anime character concept.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know. I guess the first episode gave me very high hopes, and even the end of last week's episode gave me high hopes for this anime, where I was like, man, it's gonna be an intriguing story of, all these different players in this infernal game and how the mystery gets unfolded. But then they always add this weird thing, and this week it was Section 5. It was just, I don't know, it just doesn't seem so brilliantly phased out. I don't know how to describe it.
You just don't like anime.
That's what you don't like actresses. You don't like actors. You don't like
I
it.
don't like anime.
Well, I mean, yeah,
I
because
just don't like entertainment.
this is just, the level of ludicrosity. I think that's a word. Or if not, I made that up. Ludicrosity.
Sure, I like it. That's Nerd Blaze's word of the week, brought to you by
Word
the
of the
letter L.
week. It's something that I feel like I've come to accept from anime, where my expectations are very low, and I'm gonna probably see something really crazy, something really stupid, or something really pervy.
But
It's one of those things. One of the three of those things I expect to come from pretty much every anime.
Yeah, but I think I see
yeah.
where Torie was trying to go, just because the first few episodes didn't set this anime up like that. Like, it wasn't going to be a show where a half-naked girl steps on all of her minions and who love it because domineering. Or like last week, it's a classic character of, oh, accidentally touched your boob. Oh, you're sitting on my face. Oh, hilarious. But it's because that's what it's not. It just seemed like a very deep show about fire, about death, about religion, about finding your place. It seemed different than that. So at least that's what I thought you were saying, Torie.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. It didn't set me up for that type of anime, and I didn't expect it. So when I see it, it just puts me off.
And I guess although I didn't like her them like by themselves, I guess I like the rivalry and the tension that they had with Section 8, especially the captain, who just seems like, it's just seeing the captain and this crazy chick go at it was interesting, just because I really like the captain and his crusade to do good in a world that's corrupt and morally evil.
Yeah, so like the last episode pretty much opened up what the story was going to be about, which seems like it's going to be a conflict between Fire Force 8 and the other Fire Forces, and of course the Infernals. So this is just a taste of what's to come. I suppose. Our first rival Fire Force is Fire Force 5, which I guess is either fortunate or unfortunate. Maybe it's good that they're setting it up in the beginning like this. Like other Fire Forces are crazy. Fire Force 8 is probably the most normal Fire Force you're going to meet. Everyone else, though, is going to be a little bit wacky. Just to set the expectation like that.
I wish there were a bit more nuance. I guess Section 5 is set up as like the evil one. I wanted like at least more shades of gray of people who are sure they'll do whatever they need to get the job done, but that doesn't mean they're bad guys, but they're not cartoon villain-esque. Which I guess we saw a bit in the second week with Section 1 or last week, whatever the one with the boob girl was. Last week her section was okay.
Section 1, right?
Section 1, the guy with the fire eye. He seemed like an interesting guy who's with layers and depth to him. Like this girl had no depth. She was just a fun one-off character that wasn't even that fun.
Yeah. She also had like these Charlie's Angels types that pinned
glide down from the air.
Yeah.
Fifth Angels.
Yeah, the fifth Angel 3 on target. So and then they have this other guy who's like literally a pinhead.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
I was like, oh, that dude was he deformed in life? Like, what's this?
Yeah.
Are there a bunch of pinheads like him running around in this world? I don't know the answer.
But yeah, so
and they have the dick, the one who showed out of nowhere, just like, look at these plebeians. They're so sucky. Their captain knows nothing.
I mean, it's possible that they could end up being bad guys because we don't actually know their intentions really. We just know that the lady is kind of crazy and they wanted to withhold the Infernal that has a little bit of their consciousness still in them. So their intentions could be noble still.
In theory, it makes sense because, if an Infernal suddenly starts talking and regains and has its sense of self, like, and that's never been seen before, yeah, you capture that one and you study it because you find out what the heck's going on.
But they were in the Infernal was found in Section 8. And I'm assuming that Section 5 was not supposed to be there. So how did they know that this Infernal was going to start talking in the first place?
It seems like in the very first part of the episode, they had like a whole spy network, or like they just had cameras on the whole city and was able to track everything long distance wise.
Yeah, wasn't that a weird scene at the beginning?
Oh, with the three thing, I thought it was set. It's funny. The funny thing about the show, it's like I don't know if it's being stylistic or if it's setting up plot points. Like with its three mascots standing there staring at like what I thought was like a power plant. I was like, oh, they're evil. They're gonna burst into flames in front of our eyes or something, or like it was gonna be something different. But no, I think that was just an artistic choice.
I was thinking they're the spies for Fire Force 5, like because maybe the cameras are in their, hidden underneath their mascot costumes or something, and they're like the eyes and ears of Fire Force 5. But they're probably just minimum wage mascot workers. Like one of them got tossed into a tree and had to get saved.
Yeah, like on one level it makes sense just because on a story level that's how we learn that the society doesn't like the firefighters very much because some of them are dicks. And that there's a mass killer firefighter on trial like as we speak. It's like, oh, that was a good exposition and a funny way to do it. But it's just like I want to think there's something more with these guys because it was just weird. Like they're so strange. It's scary.
Yeah, and they were just standing there, and then they had that one scene where they let go of one of the balloons and it just floats in the air. Like, what does that mean?
That balloon has a camera in it.
It's just I thought it meant that they were in the sides of the Infernal. And that was like one more balloon towards their plot or something.
Wow.
I don't know.
So that's the thing that I was a little confused about was, so in the beginning, there's a plot point where they get a phone call about a cat in the tree or a dog in the tree or whatever.
Yes.
And apparently they got this call because the Fire Force gets mistaken for firefighters. And then when they save the guy, he goes on a little bit of an exposition saying people don't really trust the Fire Force, or do they say firefighters? They're one of the groups. It's because there's the firefighters, which I assume are just the regular firefighters, things we have today in a society, and there's the fire force, and one of the two is like considered are not trusted in society because one guy in particular was killing people. Now, was that a firefighter or a fire force member?
Oh, good question. I actually don't know which one he was.
Because I don't think the firefighter and fire force terms are interchangeable. Now, when that guy was running away, the Infernal with a sense of self still left in him, when he was running away, he's like, I've saved plenty of people as a firefighter. So I was confused. I was like, oh, so he's a firefighter that saves people and kills people, but then there's also the fire force. And I just feel like, I mean, I guess we can kind of, imagine what the difference is between the two. One of them has special fire powers, and the other one probably just puts fires out.
Yeah, normal fires instead of demons.
But why is
he was no longer a firefighter, right? He was like retired or something.
I don't remember that.
I don't think he was tired. He was just caught, and he was.
Because I thought there was one conversation where he was talking to Shinra, and he said that, I saved lots of people while I was in the firefighters, and he said, well, I bet you've been doing this since you were still in the fire force. So I took that as him being like a retiree or something. But maybe for a while the firefighters did the fire force's job too. Until
they realized, hey, people are starting to light on fire like a lot more frequently than usual. We need a special force for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just think the difference between the two was not entirely made clear to me. Maybe I'm just dumb, but I feel like there needed to be a little bit more explanation as to the difference between the two. And also, they were talking about how so this firefighter guy that murdered people he was considered innocent, and then people in the audience were like, fuck this guy, he killed people. And then the reason they gave him that verdict was because apparently there would be an uproar in the country if people learned that there's a person in the firefighter. See, that I'm confused. There's a firefighter that's killing people, but like, why? So like, do people even care about the firefighters anymore? Why is there such a emphasis on this firefighter group, which is separate from the fire force group? How do they play into all of it? Is it interchangeable? Am I just getting confused for no reason?
Oh, maybe this is probably something in Japan only. Maybe in America we have a better idea with this, but people of the law, people trust, and if they think that they're going around killing people, they may have some distrust in the government. So, firefighters, police officers, they don't want to have them be seen as killers.
I think just to separate them, I think for the story to work, he has to be a fire force member. I think that's what he has to be. And I think the firefighters do things like get dogs out of the trees, and if someone leaves their campfire on too long, those are the firefighters. Those are those guys. Demons, fire force. Those are what the fire force deal with. And I think this guy has to be a fire force guy because for the impact of the story, for them to find him innocent, only to keep the faith, I think that only works if it was a fire force member, because then that's more impactful.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That not only is the Fire Force 8 investigating these other Fire Force members because they might be withholding information, but because in general the Fire Force community, or just like the Fire Force organization in general, is untrustworthy. It's just that he used the word firefighter, and I got that mixed up with like that girl said very specifically, like, sometimes we get mixed up with firefighters, so I was getting them mixed up.
Hopefully we'll learn more as time goes on.
Yeah.
We'll just have to see.
What do you think of the guy's design, the creature's design? Because I guess we're getting more detailed, villains.
It was a nice change of pace. I wonder if we're going to see just more of these Infernals with sense of self, because that makes for more interesting fights anyways, as opposed to just nameless, voiceless demon things.
And it's interesting that the whole point of this trial was that they didn't want to put more mistrust between the firefighter/fire force and the community. But then the guy turns into an infernal in the middle of trial and starts talking to everybody and starts attacking people. Suspicious. Yeah. Seems a little counterproductive, if you ask me.
Well, just before that, too, you could kind of see the same ashes that Joker was using when he was manipulating those ashes in his fight against, what's the main character's name again?
Shinra.
Against Shinra. You can kind of see that emanating from it just before he transformed. I don't know if that's typically something that happens when you transform, But in my head, when I saw that, I was like, is he being transformed like on purpose, like forcefully? Is someone else sprinkling the magic infernal dust on him to make
light
him
him on fire.
transform at the just the right time in front of this, very public gathering of people who hate this guy?
So do you think he was doing that himself and he controlled it, or do you think that it was plotted against him and someone implanted the infernal dust or whatever on him?
I think it's someone else, and there was also a small detail revealed before that, saying that the ashes are actually the
Infernal ashes.
Infernals.
Yeah, they're from Infernals, dead Infernals. So I think there must be a connection between dead Infernal ashes and making new Infernals.
Which makes sense, because if this was an evil organization, whoever's responsible for it finds out that Infernals ashes can create more Infernals, and these ashes have special properties. So whoever's doing this would of course want to make more, and would of course have people combust on fire in order to get more of these ashes, in order to, I don't know, do a transmutation circle and destroy all of the and destroy everything with Philosopher's Stones or something like that. I don't know.
And if the Fire Force is known to be a corrupt organization and people don't trust them, and there's this whole conspiracy about what's going on between the Fire Force and say the other big power players of the community, and before we were talking about how Joker is maybe he's one of the good guys, he's trying to take down the Fire Force and give everyone the truth. This could all just be very manipulative ways of turning the public against the Fire Force to weaken their status in the eyes of the public, which will make it easier for people to see that they're bad guys.
Yeah,
something like that.
I could see
now
a
we're
scene
going
at
crazy.
I could see a scene at the end where it's just like the bad guys are just like, you're setting people on fire, and he's like, the people I've set on fire is a mass murderer. The dad that we saw in the thing, he looked like a good dad, but he actually was a really bad dude.
He actually beat his
Child
kids.
Yeah, he beat his or something like that, or something. So it's like we haven't been lighting good people on fire. We've been lighting bad people. So let's watch for next week when the next villain of the week, and see if that person's a good person or a bad person. Because I think we're on to something.
Yeah, let's wait till next week until our theory crumbles before our very eyes.
It's like Death Note in a way,
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly like Death Note.
Exactly
Yeah.
like that.
I
Death
think-
Note 2, Fire Harder.
No, I think this is Death Note and Attack on Titans mushed together. That's my theory.
Okay. What were your favorite parts?
I like the part where, God, I'm getting these names really messed up. The knight guy, the Excalibur guy.
Arthur.
Boy.
Oh, right,
Arthur
Arthur Boyle. When Shinra flies off, and then Arthur decides to ride him like a horse.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was great.
Hi-ho,
Arthur,
Silver.
again, consistently the funny guy. Not something I would expect.
I liked my favorite things were both stylistic and editing choices. The first one is when we got that brief glimpse of the nun's backstory, which I thought was a weird place for the episode, because she just looked at the burning picture of herself in the church, and then that was like her only contribution to the episode.
And then she smiled afterwards.
Yeah, she smiled, which maybe she did it. I don't know. Maybe she's crazy. But like the shot I was too distracted by the big shot, that wide shot of the stained glass that she was standing in front of. Beautiful shot. Loved it. Up there with my top shots of the show. And then I also liked the way that they edited when Arthur Boyle answered the phone. So like, Arthur Boyle, Knight of Camelot, how can I help you? And then the girl like karate chopped him, but like they cut it with like an onion cutting in half, and then he fell over. I thought that was cool.
Oh, that is pretty funny, because his hair is like an onion.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a tight ponytail. He's an onion head.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just funny when the girl sent him to go take down the dog, and it was the stupid mascot.
It was a guy stuck in a tree.
Yeah. He's like, what is he doing in here? And he's just like holding on, and then
They
and
set up
then
a sign
Shinra-
for him.
Yeah.
There's a firefighter up here.
Firefighters up here, and then like Shinra like blasts him down. He's like floating down while holding him. I thought it was kind of funny.
That was an interesting contraption, that sign. That was way more complicated than it had to be, I think.
Yeah, how long was that guy up there that they had time to make that sign?
There are
Don't
mechanical
worry.
components.
We're going to
lights.
make the sign, and then we're going to call for help, and you're going to be fine. It's going to take 4 to 6 hours. You're going to be okay.
That's just how they do it.
Because one of my favorite characters, if I had to rank them, one up there is definitely the lieutenant. I like him. So I like when he was like, I know you guys are out here without permission. And then like the girl's like, I'm so sorry. I couldn't tell them that I sent you out here. I'll buy you ramen.
I like it when she like, I think she like socks the dick on Division 5.
Yeah.
And then like she looks over at what's the second ranking officer? Is
The
he
lieutenant. He's that guy.
Yeah, so the girl looks at the lieutenant and then he like looks upset but then gives her a thumbs up and they thumbs up at each other.
Yeah.
It's good.
Has
Good
fun
moment.
elements in the show.
Yeah, I like the elements that are all there. It's really cool and like the mystery. It's just these weird characters that they keep bringing in. I don't think they're necessary. And because you said it's only like 12 episodes, right? It just seems like they're bringing in so many players to this mystery with so little episodes left.
Yeah, what is this, episode 4? This was episode 4? Yeah.
Yeah, this is episode 4. So we've got eight more episodes, or 8 to 9, right? It's either 12 or 13 episodes or something.
Yeah, I think it was 12, wasn't it?
Okay. So we have a relatively short amount of time, but I think we can. There are still some things to be learned. And maybe Fire Force 5 is kind of maybe they're like the main rivalry, and they're just being introduced. Maybe that'll develop a little bit. Who knows?
Maybe. Are they in the intro?
No, I don't think so.
Princess Hibani or something. Hibana.
Weirdo.
Dumb name.
Dumb. I think we're just spoiled because I think last one, Promise Neverland, had a great way of doling out information every episode while building out the bigger mystery. And I don't think this show hasn't matched that yet, but it had the potential to at least beginning. But I think this episode didn't make things as interesting while building out the world as like something like Promise Neverland did. So I'm hoping next week we'll be back on track.
I don't know. Like you said, it has the elements. Like when the nun, that back shot of her looking at her photo and like the stained glass and stuff. That's a really good like mystery. Like you want to find out more. I think they have the good elements. It's just, I just think that they keep adding these unnecessarily bad characters. I think if they got rid of Princess Hibana, they got rid of Cat Lady. Probably they'll just get rid of all of Section 5.
Just keep it with. But you got to show how Hajime and what their influence is, because it looks like Section 5 is going to be probably the biggest one.
Yeah, they have a science team. They have specially trained Charlie's Angels-like officers,
Who are
and they have
triplets?
enough. Yeah, and they have enough, resources to hire people to just lay on the ground for their leader to step on.
Yeah.
So they are going to be a power player, I think.
I guess they bought them the time frame in this anime to be there because they have so much money. So I guess
Wow, that's pretty meta. They've bought their way out, like, into the fourth wall.
Yeah.
That's
To
pretty,
reach out to the editors.
That's pretty
and say,
cool.
Put me in.
Guess we'll have to see.
We'll have to see. Anything else?
Nope.
I think we're good.
All right.
This was a fun episode 4. You've been watching this on Nerd Blaze. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Leave a comment about your favorite hot thing in life, and we'll laugh at it. Thank you very much.
We'll laugh at
We'll
you,
laugh at
personally.
it. Thank you very much, and we'll. Tori will laugh. She will. I guarantee
Not
it.
at you. Not at you though.
No, she will laugh at you.
Don't believe her lies. Thank you all very much, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.